All right, I think I am streaming, though I don't see the stream. Oh, there we go. All right, so it's streaming now. That is that's a good sign. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I'm super bummed. I did it wrong yesterday. It didn't record. So there's going to be some progress between, that first day and today because it wasn't recording. So I'm just going to kind of summarize what I did. And with any luck, maybe we can get some more stuff done today. Now, that is not what I wanted to do. All right, I've had one sip of coffee. This is, it is a rough one. Okay, so the problem I was having was I couldn't get past the CORS, the CORS errors, with connecting the front end to the back end, which is fine. That's normal. Oh, excuse me. That's fine. It's kind of a normal thing with Google Apps Script. Whenever there's an error in your triggers themselves, it registers as a CORS error. Now, let's go to localhost. I type everything so slowly. And let me run this. Let me have another sip of coffee here. Get my life together. Goodness gracious. Okay, what was I doing? I was trying to summarize what I'm doing, but you can't do that if you have no idea what you're doing. Okay, so posting to this survey form with these AppScript triggers. So I got them working. However, the problem is when they don't, it always registers as a CORS error. Now, that can be really tricky to debug. And with Clasp, it seems like there's no way to Clasp deploy and get the most recent version. So you have to constantly go in and republish. See, I'm already on project version 17. That was just debugging the CORS, getting a working function. Because you have to send it as a string, and it's quite annoying. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to close this. I'm going to open this from my project folder so that I can kind of go back and forth from the front end to the back end. So I have this next JS project here where I'm actually making the request to the survey form. Next uses React. I'm not going to go over all the ins and outs of that. However, the submit function itself right here, I'm just using fetch to hit my backend URL. You have to set it as post. You have to give it a header content type text plain, and then you have to set the whole thing as a string in order to send it along. And that way, then when you get into the back end here, where am I? Code? No, not code.js. Why am I code.js? I'm going to delete that. Code.ts is what I want. And, oh, you know why? Oh, that's annoying. Okay, so I do have to open up in separate code windows. Well, what I was trying to say was that in the post, the do post, you have to JSON.parse those contents, and that will turn it back into an actual JSON. So I'm going to close this now. You'll see I tried to open this from the main project window, but I didn't even realize this, but VS Code doesn't have a package.json to base the types off of, so you don't get any auto-completion for the TypeScript project. So that's unforeseen little problem. So let me go back in. I'm just going to go back into the back end. And I'll open this here. And I'm going to open up a new tab. Let's see, front end and npm run dev. So let's get that front end going, see what we're working with. I am struggling this morning. It's 8 a.m. my time. Oops, I already have the local host open, and it's not 8080. 3000. Andre 3000. Okay, so in the front end here, super boring form. Let's just run it. Hello to AppScript. Position at work, middle. And if I hit submit, I should see that success. Here's that response. Okay, but what's it? It should be giving me an actual response. I want to have some sort of message so I can signal to the front end that everything worked. So what am I doing in the do post? Return content service JSON stringify response. So this is should be returning message. No, sorry, we should be here. Should be returning that success. Should be saying. So I tried to create an enum with the success and error messages. But I'm not seeing it actually in the response. All right. Well, and that kind of leads me where I stopped yesterday, was trying to figure out these interfaces and types. What is the difference? I don't know. I hope to figure that out. I like the fact that I can more clearly define what I'm doing. I feel like TypeScript is some extra code for sure. However, for something like this where you've got to transpile it into ES3, I think is what Google AppScript is. Right? Nobody writes ES3 code anymore, or nobody wants to. I don't want to. When you're in this editor here, it's super annoying to have to try to figure out how did you used to write JavaScript when you're so used to writing, ES6 and ES7 code. So that's kind of cool, and the type checking really helps when you're coding on the back end, because you have to run that clasp, push, watch stuff. Now, I guess I'm going to keep working on. So this is all unsecured. I'm going to at some point put in some. I'll put in like a ID and a secret key to pass along with these with the requests from the front end. Let me open up want that window also. I'll create some sort of key so that, in the headers, give it an authorization, and then we'll check that in the actual Google Apps script before it posts. But for right now, it's just wide open. I don't care about that. I think the spreadsheet itself is shared anonymously, so anybody can open it. Somebody the other day copied the header and sent get parameters to it, so that I was running the open this one more time. I was running the class logs watch. I think that's what I want. Class logs watch. Is it watch? Or is watch with push? You know what I need to do? Google clasp, clasp GitHub. Yeah, there we go. It's watching now. So you can actually put in some. Let's go ahead and console.log this response here. Let's do clasp push watch. The standard renderer for the integrated terminal appears to be slow on your computer. Interesting. I'm just going to say no for right now. I don't know what that is. I'm not diving into it right now. Open up this and let me go ahead and try to send another. So on the front end, I'm definitely not handling this data very well, so we can fix that today. Everything is so ugly on the front end. I feel like I want to keep working on the Google Apps Script side of things. Now, I should see that console log here at some point. No, not yet. Still not yet. It says pushing files. Push 2 files. That is really slow. Wow. What's going on? Got like too many Chrome windows open. Let me kill some of those. Oh, there's 2 people in the chat. I wonder, hello to 2 people watching. I'm talking really slowly today. Drinking coffee and trying to remember how to code. Let me actually open up the okay, what's going on with this terminal? Let me kill that. I'm just going to use the actual, I'm not using the integrated terminal. I don't know what that message was. So what was I doing? Let me go back into the back end and clasp push. Oh, I tagged it with watch, didn't I? That's why it was just sitting there. Oh, simple Jordan. Okay. And I know why it's not console logging, because like I even mentioned before, you've got to republish every single time, which is very, very annoying. You want to make sure it's anyone, even anonymous, deploy. Okay, and let's try it once more here. Just want to get that success message going. Got it here. Where is my console? There we go. Message success. So that worked. Why is it not tagging that to here? Okay, well I see the enum here. Message equals success. And then the response in the front end. Response is right here. Would it be in the body? Locked, false, readable stream, body used, headers, no. Status text. I don't know why it's I don't know why it's not sending back my success. And if it was not okay, I'm trying to parse out this response here, but should be JSON stringify that response, right? And I'm setting it as a response message. This message. Okay, interesting. All right, well, let me make one more change to the front end. And we can actually want to set state loading back to false. All right, and that should reset our form. All right, now let's do the exact same thing again. And there we've got a super basic form. All right. Man, this really slows down my computer. So let's do the same for this tribute page. Now, right now I've got lorem and a random image. I created a, you know what I should open up here? Drive front end. I don't know if it's the internet today, the Beijing internet, or the fact that my computer is just not up to the task. Okay, so for this part, what I did is I created just a basic form, does the exact same thing that the survey form does, just, it's a Google form, and I actually want to read the data from it and then display it on the page. Maybe I'll choose a random one. Not totally sure yet, but what it can do is I can grab this URL and line code. Oh, I've got to give it a parameter. Sheet name, and we're going to call it tribute page. Not sheet name. Interesting. Sheet name. And it's going to give us a response with all this data from the spreadsheet. And then so there it's actually displaying the failed do get because I didn't give it a parameter. I think what I should do, let me go back into the code here. think I probably have too many windows. It's probably confusing to have this many windows open. Okay, well, I'm going to kill this console log. Values. Now, up here in the do-get, let's say if not sheet name, let's return content service create output. Oh, I gotta stringify it. Set MIME type, and we want to set it to content service MIME type. I'm trying to use the auto completion. Content service MIME type JSON. There we go. How does that? Yeah, perfect. Okay. And in the actual response, I want to say error no sheet selected, and that'll give us a little error message. I am gonna, sorry, I hadn't wrapped this in a curly braces, but just to be super clear, I like to do that. So then I get these values here, and right now I'm just dumping them onto the page. I actually want to kind of parse them a little bit. Let's create a new function. Let's just do parse values, and I'll pass it a giant multi-dimensional array of values. And I'm going to break this into its own function, I think. Or maybe I should try to use classes. All these cool typescripting things that will allow us better type checking. Right now I'll just leave it as a function. So values is going to be an array. It's going to be an array of arrays. So T is like the generic, I think. I don't think I want that. I think I want it to be an array of arrays. Can you do it like this? No. Can you do like this? Array of. Maybe you can do an array of string. What about like that? Ah. No? I think that's right, but I think that is an array of strings, right? Because this is an array filled with arrays, filled with strings. That wouldn't work if I had some sort of numbers in here, but I don't. So for this case, we're going to be fine. So the very first array is going to have the headers in it. So let's go ahead and not using var anymore. We're going to do const headers values.shift. And what type are we getting here? Yeah, so it's going to be an array of strings. Okay, yeah, that works. That's really cool. So it understands the kind of values it's going to be receiving. Perfect. So the rest of values, shift actually modifies the array. So values now will just be everything after that first one, which in this case is only one entry. I'll put a couple more in later. So what I'm going to do then is let's values.map value arrow function, and I think I can do this on one line. Let's see. Yes, I think I can. I need the index though, because what I'm going to do is, well, I don't need to return. I can just, it's an explicit return, implicit return? Implicit return. Explicit return would be if I typed return. Implicit return is what we're going to do here. So we're going to return an object, and that object is going to have the key of headers index and value, I think, right? Value, yes. And this I want to save to constant, let's do parsed values. And let's console.log parsed values and return parsed values. I can do all of this in one line, but I want to see what I'm working with here. So in the doGet, let's get const parsed values equals parse values, and we're going to pass it values. And that should be get us started. So let me go back over to my backend. I'm going to clasp push and then clasp deploy. And I've got to actually manually change the deployment, which is super, super annoying. But in the grand scheme of things, why we can't complain about such things. Okay, so I'm going to refresh this, see what it looks like. I get an array with only the timestamp as an array. All the values in timestamp. That's not what I want. So I'm not parsing something correctly, but it is sort of what I want. I want it now an array of objects, right? So, what am I? Let's go back, take a look at this. Let's parse these values. Oh, I'm actually logging it, so timestamp, yeah, okay. Yeah, that whole bit of text from Wikipedia is in there. I want, oh, I know why. Values, because this value is going to be an array. I've got to actually give it this index, right? Oh, so each value, yeah, this value, I don't want this first index. I want to loop over every value. So this is going to be nesting some loops here. Is there a way around that? Okay, so what I can do, let's try it like this. For let I equals headers.length. No, I don't want headers.length. I want values.length. Oh, I'm having a stroke. I equals 0. I is less than values.length. Jeez Louise. And then we're incrementing I. It's been so long since I've written a plain for loop. My goodness. So, what I want then is values I dot map each value in there, headers index, and that should be the correct value. I don't need an index there. I just need the index to refer back to this headers. So that I get parsed values. What if I declare this as an array? Const parsed values equals an array, empty array. And instead of just redeclaring that, I will push that here. Add another closing braces. Move that const. And then we've got parsed values. However, I don't like this structuring. I'm going to have to think about this for a second. A for loop, then with this map function inside it. I think it's going to spell trouble, but for right now, we want to get something working. So, class push deploy, reopen my window, publish one more time. Hopefully I can then dive into the front end. No, I should be on version 20. There we go, 20. I wish there was a way to set that in with Clasp. I'm going to actually maybe make a comment on the... so then I need to refresh this page and then see where we're working. See what we're working with here. Now we're creating a new object with every field. We don't want that. We want one object with all the fields. So, so I think I figured it out. We are going to, let's start this from scratch. We're going to go const parsed values. We're going to equal that to headers dot map, and we'll just say header, and we need that index. No, that's not right. Values map, and then we want to value. But in this arrow function, let's then call headers.map, and we can do for each header for each header and index, we want to return into yeah, I won't need this index, because what I'll have then is a, so value. How can I do this in as few lines as possible? I don't want this index. I'm going to kill all of that immediately. Values, I'm getting each value. Then I have to go through each value, map it. Let's have a sip of coffee, figure this one out. Puddle through this one. I know what it is. We're going to change it. Map returns an array. Always, no, sorry, it doesn't always return an array. It modifies all of, it does always return an array. It modifies all of the elements inside an array, though. You can change those into objects. However, in the end, you always get an array. So what I want to do is first map over all these values, and then with each array inside there, I'm going to reduce it. And that actually gets, you get an accumulator, and then the current element And what we want to do is take the accumulator and we want to set it to the current element. We want to get the index also. I believe that will give us the index. We want to, okay, then set this to headers index equals current element, the current value in there. And then we're going to return that accumulator, and we're going to make the accumulator an empty object. Right? So that will then return, we got to actually return this from here. That will return the value itself. All right, let's see how that one looks when we class push, class deploy into the wonderful world of so now we're on version 21. We've got to actually tell it to pay attention to version 21, because I don't think it will. So here's the thing. Let me cancel that. It's not going to register any of those changes, I don't think, until I manually change it. Yeah, that's right. There should be, deploying should do that for you if it's possible. I'm gonna look into creating an issue on GitHub. So let's see. Are we any closer to an array? A single array? We are. And I think we're there. We're at a single array now. So the keys are going to be the headers. And in fact, what we can do is go to the live form. Let's create another one. Let's see who the person of the day is on Wikipedia. And let's put him in Talk That Talk. No, did you know? On this day, James Cook's second voyage to cross the Antarctic Circle. Okay, James Cook, an explorer. Let's copy the image address. Oh, you can only fill out this form once. What a goofball I am. I don't want to only fill it out once. I want to fill it out hundreds of times. And you know what else I'll do? Let me get the I'm going to share that in the okay. No, I don't want this already responded thing. Let's go to preview that. Okay, my email address. I want to copy this. Oh, no, not that anymore. It's this picture of James Cook. Wikipedia lets you use these images. They should all be Creative Commons. And then just a little bit about the dude. Let's just do 2 paragraphs about the guy. Oh, I don't care about all this stuff. James Cook. Let's submit. The response has been recorded. And if we refresh this, we should have 2 objects in here now. And they should be keyed properly. Perfect. All right, that's what I wanted. All right. So I've got something to work with here. So what I can do is then go back into the, this is all set up now. I want to go back into the front end of my code and make this page work correctly. Should be no problem. Haha. Ha ha ha, I should say with a laugh. Should be no problem. Well, we'll see about that. I can make anything difficult if I put my mind to it. Okay, so we're going to kill that survey form for right now. Let's go to tribute page. I have it broken up into, whoa, what's going on here? Why is it not registering? All right, some sort of color error there. So I need to import fetch. And we're using next, so got an isomorphic fetch package that we're gonna have to use. And then I might be able to delete these default props. You know what? What am I doing? So what I have is a page for the tribute. And then I think my idea was that I would then pass down pass it as props. Yeah, so let's do it that way. So in tribute page, let's import this, put it at the top because it's a and then we don't do tribute page get initial props, I think. And that is going to be a function. And what do we want to do here? We want to fetch, and we want to use my script just declare this variable. And we want to add this parameter at the end, sheet name equals, and but I don't need actually to template it. We can just type in. Yeah, I do need to template it because we're going to encode URA component, and we want to then tribute page. Okay, so that should give us what we're looking for. Now, can I async await this? I'm going to look up in Next.js here. How do you use get initial props? Is it returning a function? I don't think so. Because it definitely can't be the way that I'm writing it, now that I think about it. As I think this through, get initial props. Oh, I can make it a static. Oh wait, I'm not using a class. Yeah, it's got to be a function. So I can async that. What's this? Prop selection for stateless components. Yeah. On page res. I don't know what all of these properties are, so I'm going to leave them alone for right now. All I'm going to do is fix my code here. We're going to async await this, and I want to await this fetch. I think what I'll have to do is const tribute response.json, and then I'm going to console.log attributes. And I'm going to return one tribute. Attributes, just the very first element of it. I think I want to do this I want to choose one randomly, because then up here in the props, I want to pass in tribute equals props.tribute. Whew, okay. How is that working? Haha. When you're writing an arrow function, you've got to include the arrow. Keyword, arrow. If you're going to write an arrow function, localhost. Okay. What am I getting in my console? Nothing. Why not? Console.log attributes. This is something you have to await. Got nothing there. Nothing in the console. Maybe. There we go. I just had to refresh that. Okay, so I get these tributes. Fair enough. What are you then? You're not loading anything. Oh, I know why. What a goof. Because now it's not using the default props anymore that I built. So let's go back into the tribute here. I'm going to delete this. And instead of tribute.description, we need to actually description. The image is going to be tribute. I think I can type them that way. What do they actually, this actual structure looks like? Yeah, I could probably just type them with the dot notation, capital letters. You couldn't do that for email address though. Let's see. There we go. This is pretty ugly. I wonder if I can pass this in as Markdown. Let's try one more thing. So in this p tag, let me import marked from marked. And then I want to dangerously, we're gonna live dangerously set inner HTML marked. And then I want to move I don't know that this is gonna work, but we're gonna try it. Oh, and now we've got some breaks in there. Perfect. It's a little bit better formatted. All right, and that picture is kind of wonky looking. I think because I have it set to cover. Yeah, object fit cover. What if I do contain? Contain. Object fit contain. I think that will change. Yeah, so it doesn't stretch the image out, but that is a lot of text in there. I shortened the other one to 2 paragraphs. So what I can do in here, let's just delete these 2 paragraphs. And refresh. And look at this thing. This is like a actual back end. That's weird looking. Why is it doing that? Why did it completely shift think I know why. There we go. That looks right. Because it's got to go back and refetch from the actual page itself and then pass it down. So I want to show a random one. And what we're going to do is go back into the attribute page itself. We're going to get a random number. Just call it random attribute equals math dot ceiling, and math dot random. And we want to multiply it by the attributes.length. And I think we want to subtract 1 from that. Is that going to give us the right random number? I don't know. Let me just call this rand. Making life too difficult. And kill that. And okay, there we go. Now we've got a random version here. Ooh, it looks weird when it, why do I have to reload that completely? Maybe I should just, and well, I'm getting the other image now. That's okay. I could also put that randomness in the back end too. So when you hit this endpoint, instead of returning all of them and then randomly doing it on the front end, it just returns a random one. Why don't I do it that way? That's a better way to do it, I think. So instead of, yeah, I like that better. I feel like that is a better way to structure this. So what we're going to do here, we're just going to call this tribute. I'm going to remove this randomness. In fact, I'll just cut it out. And we can remove all of this ES or TypeScript or ES6 or whatever. That'll allow us to just tribute, props.tribute. Perfect. Okay, so our front end is done there. I'm going to go back over into the back end side of things. We only have a few minutes left. This will be the last thing I do today is get this part working. So parse values, we want to go back up into our doGet. And of course, I'm going to break all of these things out into their own functions. Maybe I'll create a whole class system for every one of the pages. Yeah, that's fine. So values, we're going to get all the values there. Then we're going to parse the values. Not assignable to parameter of type string. Okay, getting some type errors warnings here. I will come back to that. Will I? No, I won't. Handle that now. So, what am I going to do? What am I going to do about that? First I want to get this. I want to randomly get one of these. I don't need to pluck them all. So how about here? So I'll shift off the headers, and then with the rest of the values, and that way I don't have to go through this whole looping inside of a loop thing. So what I can do, let me paste in this random number. And what I want to do is get values, rand, and then we're going to all the way down, get this reduce. And then, is that going to be right? I think that's right. And that way, we've only got one value to return in here. It's going to be one random value. So let's open up my, let's just, we can see if that works by just hitting it here. Still getting an array. Oh. Oy vey. Class push, class deploy. Class push, class deploy. And we're almost right at about 9 a.m. Beijing time. Let's set it to class version. See, and now it's saying only myself. That's not right. Why is it changing these things? Anyone, even anonymous. Deploy. Okay. Tributes is not defined, line 59 of your code. Tributes is not defined, line 59. It's got to be up here somewhere. Tributes. Gives me a line here. See, it doesn't match up. That'd be nice if oh, tributes, duh. I want values. Okay. Class push, class deploy. Let me look one more time if there's a way to set. I gotta get some thumbnails here. I hate looking at these placeholder images. It's ugly. What am I doing here? I wanted to see if there's a way to deploy description. See, like, you have to know the version number. So if I type crazy, response gives the version of the script. So if I do class deploy version number 23, does that work? Oh no. What do you mean it doesn't deploy? Oh, this is class deployment. Class deploy. In the example, we've got a it's got to be class deployments then. Deployments be 23. Listing deployments. Oh. It's not a lowercase v. And we're still saying unknown option. Unknown option. Is it class deployments or class deploy? Let's try again. A class deploy. Whoa. Class deploy version number 23. I must have typed this at some point before because it's auto completing. Let's try Clasp deployments. Version number 23. Nope. Okay, so there's something wrong with this. I don't know what the intended behavior is, but it doesn't match up with the documentation. This is an open source project. Maybe I should contribute. I've just never contributed to an open source project before. I feel like documentation is a pretty good place to start. Where am I here? I need to go deploy. Should be in 23. Update. Okay. And over in the front end, look, so here's that CORS error, which that is fine. And now I'm getting a single response here. Captain James Cook. Okay, warning, prop dangerously set inner HTML did not match server. Empty server. Interesting. This is the Next.js error. I'm going to have to read about what that is. Because it's getting server rendered. Let's see if I go back to the main page and refresh. Does it still give me that error? No. If I click on it now, does it give me the error? No. I think I do. I want to create a refresh button on here. I don't need to pass in this tribute. But that's going to be a problem for tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to do this product landing page. So that's going to be a whole new sheet on here. Let's just go ahead and create it right now. Product landing page. And what we'll do is I'll just store some data in the spreadsheet about different products and then allow you to maybe display them in some kind of way on the front end. And I'll do that front end work for the product landing. I'm also going to make it so that this changes with every page change, right? Like, so I'm going to kind of tighten up this navbar tomorrow. So that'll be tomorrow. Navbar, product landing page, pulling data from a spreadsheet. And yeah, cheers everybody. I will see you tomorrow. Continue the 100 days of stream. 100 days of coding, 100 days of Google Apps Script, whatever you want to call it. Yeah, right on. Cheers.